Hello. Hi, everyone. I am Lana Quest, and welcome to the Quest Show. 2 weeks in a row. Kudos to me because that just doesn't happen. I'm trying to do better. But there's just so much news to talk about. But I almost also feel like I'm talking about the same thing every single week, which I guess isn't bad because people need they need to hear things over and over again, maybe before they actually get it. So maybe it's not a bad thing if I feel like I'm repeating myself, and I am repeating myself. So anyway, let's breathe. Take a moment. How is everyone today? Are you guys okay? Like, it is Friday Eve. We've made it through another week almost. Um, a lot of damage is being done every week. I mean, I don't even have anything positive to say, but we're here, so we're still breathing, so we are making it. So it's okay. So let me just say thank you to any new subscribers. I know I have a little small YouTube channel, but I do appreciate every single subscription and thumbs up to my videos, and please share them with people if you are so inclined. Anyway, let's just jump into, oh my God, the stuff is just so much stuff. I don't even know where to start. Like I sit down and I write all these notes, and then I go like, what's the point? Like, what's the point of all of these notes? But let's just go. Let's do this. Donald Trump has been president for all of, I think, like, is it like 30 days at this point? I can't even remember. 30, 31 days, 29, 30, 31 days, a little over a month, whatever the case is. He has already golfed 27% of the time. Already. He's already been golfing. Why has he already been golfing? Because he has, the real president, President Musk, doing all the work. So he can just golf, because that was always the plan too, right? If it wasn't going to be Elon, it was going to be someone else, one of the authors of Project 2025. Like, it wasn't going to be Donald Trump running shit. He wants to golf, and that is exactly what he's doing. Golfing and Lord knows what, taking a nap. He used to call, but oh, my water fell. He used to call Biden Sleepy Joe, but stop playing right now. Are we really to believe that Donald Trump is not taking naps? Why do we think he's up all night? Because his ass is taking naps during the day. Whatever. So anyway, let's just take a look at what he's done so far. Not that I need to go over it, because I know that everyone out there knows like the nonsense. And I shouldn't say everyone, because there's a large group of people who think that he's doing great, because he is a master manipulator. So he would just make sure that he's just always in the news, whether it's good or bad. If you're always hearing his name, then you think that he's actually out here doing some shit when he actually is not. So let's see. After he got sworn in, right? He didn't put his hand on the Bible, whatever. One of the first things that he did was he claimed power from Congress, right? He said, I'm taking away birthright citizenship. This is one of the first acts that he did. That is against the Constitution. That is him pushing right out the gate. He's like, yo, right out the gate, I'm going to push all the boundaries. I don't care about the Constitution. I didn't even care about this little ass Bible that you thought that I was going to put my hand on and swear. I ain't even doing that. So why do you think I would care about your stupid Constitution? Also, he told us that he didn't care about the fucking Constitution. So that is why on day one, he did an executive order saying, fuck you to the Constitution. I'm taking away birthright citizenship. Day one. And that's exactly what he did. Of course he did. What did he do? I don't know. Day 2 and 3, he started firing the watchdogs, right? Because if you're about to do the crime, why the hell would you have the watchdogs still there? That doesn't make any sense. How would that be helpful? You elect a felon, you're not going to have guards watching over you. You have to fire the guards if you're a criminal. It only makes sense. So why be surprised that he would fire watchdogs? What's the surprise there? Day 4, he hired Elon. Well, and Vivek. I don't know what that Vivek situation was with Elon, but I guess Elon was not going to have the spotlight, and there can only be one president at a time. So it had to be Elon. So Vivek had to go. Like, that was just what that was. So hired Elon. Elon hired some kids, right? Like, because we have to keep saying that. We can't keep saying, Doge's staff when we know that Doge's staff consists of a 19-year-old that got fired from his prior job for stealing information, consists of 20-year-olds, 23, like 20-something-year-olds that are literally in charge of going through very sensitive information. Like, Trump didn't hire them. That's almost like, that's literally, they're subcontractors. Trump hired Elon, whatever that kind of means, right? And then Elon hires those guys. So those guys are like subcontractors to the administration. Like, how does that even work? How does that even work? So how are they like able to just go through sensitive information? How is that a thing right now? But it is. People need to start paying attention because it is, right? Like, even if you are MAGA, I mean, maybe you should pay attention. It may just be important, right? Like that, it just may be important. Even if you don't mind, maybe just pay attention. See what's going on. Stop listening to what someone is telling you is happening and maybe read up and see what's actually happening, because maybe you don't want to believe it, but every single thing out of Donald Trump's mouth is a lie. Like, he just doesn't tell the truth. He didn't tell the truth during the first administration. He lied about COVID, which was killing people. So why a liar? Why is he going to come back and now be like this honest broker of the truth? Like, hey guys, I'm back and I'm going to be honest this time. Like, why would he do that? Hey, Tom, like, why would he ever do that? He's not going to do that. So that's what happened like the first week, right? Second week, what happens? All hell breaks loose. We're gonna just lay off and fire just everyone willy-nilly. We're not gonna read shit. We're just gonna like fire. If you're in a DI department, we're just gonna go control find DEI, and that's how we're gonna do this. Like, we're just gonna go willy-nilly with it, because no, literally that's just what they did. Because also they wanted to take DEI out of all of the documents. So someone had the bright idea to go control find DEI and delete, just take those out of documents. So that means that actual documents that have those letters in them don't make sense, because now they're taken from the documents. Like, this is how willy-nilly this is. It's stupid. So anyway, what else has been going on with these layoffs and firing? We all know that, first he attacked the USAID, and MAGA like, well, we're paying so much money. We're sending money overseas. We're doing this. We're wasting money. They're, it's efficiency. They're finding all of the waste. And it's just like, Oh my God. Ugh. They hate critical thinking. All of them, right? Like even folks that voted for Trump that aren't necessarily MAGA, they're just low information voters and they just can't like they don't think critically. It's just kind of insane. So USAID, right? It's aid. Yes, it aids people overseas, but it also aids people here. Like it's so simple. If America is a superpower and we're helping other countries, say, fight diseases that have been eradicated or fight diseases that, like HIV, right? We've got pills for it now. People, HIV AIDS, people are not dying. It's not like it was before. Why? Because there's been so much research and so much done on it. Now we have medications. Continent of Africa, not so lucky. So we send aid over there so that it doesn't spread. But you have to think, if America is containing diseases and helping people in other places, that in turn helps us, right? So it doesn't come here. So it doesn't get spread here. So why wouldn't you help those people? What does it equal to? Like $12 a year per person? Like, y'all can't be serious to be upset about this. Like, really get a grip and start reading. And that's why they want to destroy the Department of Education, because they really want to keep you guys just uneducated and without common sense. It doesn't make sense. So not only did he stop aid from there, not only did he fire people from the USAID, he has been firing people from the Department of Health and Human Services, because that makes sense during bird flu. Like, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he do that? Well, who needs cancer research? We don't need cancer research. Why do we need cancer research? Why do we need research on bird flu? I hear he fired those people too. He fired researchers that are researching bird flu. That is still here. You don't hear about it because he has blocked out all data. So you can't hear about it. I mean, that doesn't bother you, MAGA? Like, you're not in the least bit concerned about bird flu? Have you guys not heard about measles? There's like a serious measles outbreak in West Texas. Like, it's kind of wild and it's spreading. It's not really controlled. Your president has not spoken a word about it. It's like it doesn't exist. Measles? What measles? He's not talking about it. He's a president, right? Because he wants to show you the things that he thinks you want to see. And for MAGA, what he knows that they want to see are, Black and brown people. Like, DI is gone. We're attacking woke. We're firing trans. We're doing all of these things. Like, that's what they want to see. Meanwhile, bird flu is out of control. It's being spread from birds to cows to humans. Measles is out of control. Tuberculosis is the worst outbreak in the United States history. And where is that at right now? Kansas, I think it is. Like, but we're not talking about it. No one is talking about it. And then what do? We confirm RFK Jr., the anti-vaxxer. So it's just not going to, it's just, and this all is happening because those places where the outbreaks are low vaccination places. And it's unfortunate, right? Because the kids are suffering. The kids are getting the measles because their friggin' parents won't vaccinate them. And I said this today. It's like, if you're not vaccinating your kids, you should be arrested for child abuse. Republicans want to arrest women for murder for having an abortion. but they're literally harming children by not vaccinating them. So make it make sense. It doesn't make any sense. Hey, baby, how are you? It just doesn't make sense. Like, who else is getting fired? The Department of Energy and Loan, Nuclear Security. Again, you guys heard this. They're firing people who work with our nuclear weapons, people who are building nuclear weapons, protecting the nuclear weapons. These people are being fired? I mean, I never really thought about this, but like the people who work with nuclear weapons, they're also in charge of if there is a nuclear weapon that has gone off somewhere else. They have these like nuclear weapon devices that detect the chemical in the air or something so that it would alert us a way ahead of time that this is happening. We fired those people. And not only did we fire those people, they were like, you're fired and delete. So not only did they fire and delete the emails, now they can't even find them to rehire them. So I don't know. Maybe they have rehired them by now because I think this was last week that it happened. Who knows? Because again, they don't tell us. They're not honest brokers. They're not going to get on TV and say, yes, this is what happened, and we've got those people back on the jobs, because they are not serious about what they are doing. They don't care. This is all for stunts and shows. The more firing, the better, because it makes it look like they are doing stuff. But all they're doing is causing harm and destruction. What else? Labor relations and equal employment, because, of course, who wants equal employment? Who wants that? You can't have equal employment. That sounds too much like DEI, so that can't happen. Veterans Affairs, they're out there hiring those people too who are helping veterans. They're also firing veterans. Firing veterans, firing the people that are helping veterans. Can't make this up. You really can't make this up. What else? I think they're like getting rid of programs that help disabled children. Getting rid of programs that help seniors not to get scammed. Like, just you name it, that is what they're doing. So I talked a lot about it. So let's listen to a lawmaker talk about what's happening with Doge.
People that find the waste, fraud, and abuse are answering the questions that everyone knows the answer to. Do you know what the Trump-Musk administration did to that Inspector General?
I believe he was also fired.
Also fired. At least 5 inspector generals that were looking into Elon Musk's companies were fired by the Trump-Musk administration. These inspector generals, who are independent, protected by law, they are the people that find the waste, fraud, and abuse, and found many of the cases of waste, fraud, and abuse that have been brought up today, fired because they were looking into Elon Musk. At the NLRB, the National Labor Relations Board, which is supposed to protect workers from getting their unions busted by folks like Elon Musk, made functionally broken by the so-called Department of Government Efficiency that really is the Department of Government Efficiency for Elon Musk, not for you. His own contracts. Again, I'll ask you, Mr. Talcove, do you know how much money a day Mr. Musk will receive from the federal government for his contracts?
No.
The answer is $8 million a day. Just last year, Elon Musk was promised $3 billion from close to...
Elon Musk is going to get $8 million a day for his contracts. They want to stop USAID, the aid to other countries, and that aid equals about $12 a year for medication for people. And Elon is getting $8 million a day. Y'all can't make this make sense. Like, the math is not mathing here. These like, it just on its face is just a weird thing, because when you look at Donald Trump and you look at Elon Musk, you don't see a life of service. There is not a life of service. There is Donald Trump stealing from his charities. Elon Musk, with all that money, he should have wings of hospital dedicated to him, libraries dedicated to him. He should have all kinds of things dedicated in his honor because he has donated so much money. Where is that at? It's not. So if you have a people who have not spent just a part of their lives giving to regular people, why the fuck would anyone think that they would see all of this money and then say, we're trying to help people? Like, why would they do that now? That just doesn't make sense. Again, wake the fuck up, MAGA. They will give us crumbs, and I'm gonna get back to the crumbs because I talk about it all the time. They will give us the crumbs just so we think that we're getting something big, when in essence they are the ones that are getting the huge tax breaks, and then they'll say, here, guys, you get these crumbs. And then MAGA is like, oh my God, they gave us something. Look at him. Trump, Trump, Trump. When he literally gave us a fucking crumb from this. It's like somebody's eating a big meal at the table and you give the dog the little scrap. That's Trump and Elon, but let's let him continue.
100 contracts with the federal government. Ms. Royal, do you know how much the average person in this country who survives on Social Security, one of our seniors who's worked their entire life, about how much they have to survive on a day?
I do not.
$65 a day. We're not looking into Elon Musk's $8 million a day. This subcommittee, chaired by Marjorie Taylor Greene and the House Republicans, is looking into your grandmother's $65 a day.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Hi, baby. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Brian. Hey, the cool badass. And I think Tom was up there too. Like, this is what they're looking into. Also, let's just not forget and let's put it in perspective. There is waste and fraud in the government. It's always there. Every administration tries to get rid of it, right? You do. But the way that they are doing it, which one is not transparent, two, there's no forensic auditor, right? So if you really, because there are inspector generals, they said a few years ago, an inspector general wrote a report because they've been there trying to get rid of waste and fraud in the government. But they fired the inspector generals. They don't want them there. Why don't they want them there? Because Elon knows that, guess what? In his contracts are the waste and the frauds. If he's getting $8 million a day, like, come on. It's like where they're digging at, where they're trying to take money from USAID, from the Department of Education, from the Department of Veterans Affairs, from all of these little departments. It's only going to amount to what, 17% of the federal budget? Like, it's nothing. If the federal budget is 100%, this is like nothing. They're getting like 2% here from this department, 2% from that department. There's nothing big coming from what they're doing. You know where the big stuff comes from? Your Social Security, your Medicare, and your Medicaid, and the Department of Defense. That's the big stuff. That's what has to be cut. This other stuff is just for show. So you're looking that way. So you don't listen to, they just got into the Social Security Department. What the hell are they doing there? What does he need in the Social Security Department? What is he cutting in the Social Security Department?
Would need the fine to give each person a $5,000.
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, the crumbs, right? Hold for a minute. The crumbs. So in order for them to make this make sense, in order for them to keep MAGA on the hook, and all those people who aren't necessarily MAGA, who want to believe that Trump actually is doing something because he's a businessman, and this is where Trump is a good showman. Like he just is. We can just call him stupid all we want because he's stupid, like reading shit and stuff like that. Yes, he ain't a stupid con man. He's just not. He knows how to con people. He definitely knows how because he knows that if he's doing all this digging, he has to provide something for the people or at least say it, right? It could be a lie. Probably is a lie, but he's going to say it. So his next thing that he just blurted out of his mouth, oh yeah, we're finding billions and trillions and gazillions of dollars, right? Like just a lie, right? Lies, everything out of the numbers don't make sense. Again, math doesn't math with Trump. It just does. Words don't word with him either, but math just definitely does not math with him, right? So we found billions and gazillions of dollars. And what are we going to do with all that money? Let's see. Hey, possibly we'll give it back to the Americans, right? So now they're talking about some type of stimulus going back to Americans. I don't know how that would work. How, again, that math would math if you're talking about all that money going back to Americans, like just randomly we're just giving it back. And now you got dummies, like dummies. Oh, just dummies all around, dummies, black, white, Latino, just dummies going, oh my God, he's about to give us money. It's the same thing with those fucking stimmy checks during COVID, which Nancy Pelosi fought for and the Democrats fought for. And Republicans finally signed on, right? It passed Congress and Trump held them up. While you were fucking hungry and couldn't pay your rent, he held those checks up so that he could put his signature on them. Why did he put his signature on them? Because he knew that y'all dummies would turn around and be like, look, Trump gave us a check. Oh my God, I'm going to vote for him again. He gave us a check. He knew it. So that's why now he's like, oh, with all this money we're finding, we're going to give it back to Americans. That's what I'm talking about. Fucking Elon and Trump and those wealthy billionaires are feasting, right? Because the bottom line is that they have to find money for tax cuts for the wealthy. And if you don't understand what that means that if the wealthy are not paying taxes to the government is going to be in the red. We're negative. We're counting on the trillions of dollars from whatever, those people. But if he's giving them cuts, that means that they don't have to pay the government because he's cutting their taxes. So he's got to make up for the money that he does not get from them somewhere. So that's why he's digging in our shit. That's why he's firing our family members. That's why he's firing the people from the fucking nuclear departments, from the health departments, from the Department of Education. He's fucking with us so he can give the billions tax cuts to those guys. So they're all feasting. Just feasting. Just right? Greases all over them, having a good time. And then Americans are like, what about us? Eggs are so expensive. Give us something, a crumb. And he just here, right? Now, Americans are going to run and be like, oh my God, Trump gave us a check. Right? You sold your soul. I don't fucking care if it's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. It's not worth it if he has dug into your Social Security. If Social Security is gutted, it's not worth it. If Medicare is gutted, it is not worth it. If Medicaid is gutted, it is not worth it. If your disabled child has no services in their school, it is not worth it. If a kid with autism can't go to school anymore, how the fuck is that worth it? If you don't have child care vouchers, how are you going to pay for that? That money he gave you is going to run out. It's not forever. Guess what's forever? Tax cuts for the fucking wealthy into eternity. He doesn't want them to run out anymore. It's not worth it. It's not. But he knows you're greedy motherfuckers. He knows that. Let someone else explain it to you. Oh.
Now, how much money has Doge even saved so every American $5,000 checks from all the savings they're making at Doge? First of all, let's do the math. There are a little over 262 million people over the age of 18 in the US, and that's who would even qualify for this money. Now multiply that by $5,000 checks for each person, and that would equal $1.3 trillion that Doge would need to find to give each person a $5,000 check. Now, how much money has Doge even saved so far? Well, according to reports, only 55 billion. But then you actually see what they saved it on, and you see that it was on firing people in government that we actually needed. They fired nuclear scientists who were literally in charge of our nuclear weapons and then backtracked because they found out that they actually needed them. They fired scientists in the Department of Agriculture who were making sure that our food was safe and who were literally stopping the spread of bird flu. They fired hundreds of air traffic control agents after the DC plane crash and after they knew that the agency was already understaffed. And now we see planes falling out of the sky every fucking day. And on top of all of that, and this is true, Elon Musk put out a receipt of an example of a contract that they cut, which was from the Office of Diversity and Civil Rights, where on the bottom it said Doge cuts $8 billion. But then you zoom in and literally see that the valuation of the contract was only $8 million. The point is that the $55 billion in savings isn't real savings. And on top of that, Republicans put out a budget bill where they plan to cut all Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, and education funding, also that they can give a $4.5 trillion tax cut to the wealthy elites, while making you pay more in taxes. So let me get this straight. Your grandmother will lose her Social Security check, your disabled family members will lose their benefits, you are going to lose your health care, your fridge is going to be empty as fuck, your kids will have no school to go to, you'll be paying more in taxes, grocery prices will be high as fuck because of all the tariff wars that Trump just started, our country will be at war with Canada, Greenland, and Panama, you'll have the bird flu, and you'll be paying more in taxes while the billionaires laugh in your face because your idiot ass was happy about a potentially, possibly, perhaps $5,000 Elon Musk stimulus check. And by the way, Trump is also using your taxpayer dollars to try to get a new Air Force One jet and golfing and playing president on TV. Congratulations, you played yourself.
Hey, MAGA, how can you think we're all lying? Like, how can you think that? Because it makes perfect sense what we're saying. How can you think this is all a lie? You just don't want to believe you got played. And they're constantly playing you. Like, this is, it's the big grift. It's like it's I can't even spit the words out because it's so wild what's going on. And to have almost half of America just like, oh, it's just fraud and abuse. And it's just like, what? It's just like, you're putting the fox in the hen house. It's like, and saying, watch the hen house. I know you got this. It's wild. So let's hear from some fired workers. Let's move on.
Himself. This is a heist by like Apple Pay. That would kind of like Apple Pay. That would be regulated by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So he came in, fired the workers, told us to stop working, and that basically gives bad financial actors like Elon Musk a green light to take advantage of hardworking Americans. And he did that to enrich himself. This is a heist by an unelected billionaire.
This is out of the mouths of the actual workers. Like, MAGA, are they lying too? Are they lying too? But speaking of just the waste, right? You just heard Trump wants to get a new plane. I also heard that he got rid of the Resolute desk that Biden and Obama sat on. Like, it's just petty for no reason. Like, it just doesn't even make sense. But speaking of waste, look at this fucking waste.
Forever president.
I love this guy.
Donald Trump is at Daytona 500 with the Beast, which is the motorcade, and behind them you have all the drag racers there. The fucking fucked up part about this is that there's one specific group of people, and y'all know exactly who the fuck I'm talking about, is looking at this and saying, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, you fucking rock. He's our president, forever president. fuck Joe Biden. And they got no Social Security, no Medicaid, no Medicaid to look forward to because their ass about to get cut. They got no food stamps they about to have. They got the long tooth in the front, no teeth. And you have this motherfucker lying to them saying, we're going to look for all the waste, fraud, and abuse. Motherfucker, you are the waste, fraud, and abuse. It cost the American taxpayers $5 million just for you to go to the Daytona 500, drive with the beast with the motorcade and all these Secret Service, to also then have Air Force One fucking travel over it, like, while at the same time dismantling all the efforts to find a cure for cancer and other deadly disordered diseases because you want to cut research because you think that's fraud, waste, and abuse. Like, make that shit make sense.
And it's so crazy. Like, MAGA wonder why we tease them, but I mean, it's so true. And it continues to be the same thing over and over again. As long as Trump delivers the hate, they don't care. They don't care. Like you said, if they don't have teeth in their mouth, they're cool with it because Trump gonna fix it someday. Backaches need surgery. It doesn't matter. No medical insurance. It don't matter anyway. They don't even want to vaccinate their children. So why do they need medical insurance anyway? So they just don't care. As long as he keeps hating the other, it doesn't matter to them. And that's the part that we keep getting stuck on, right? Like normal people who get critical think, we keep getting stuck on like, but dude, you need your Social Security too, right? Don't you have family members that, may have cancer? Or what if they do get cancer? You're not concerned about cancer research being stopped? You good with that? As long as he's deporting the brown people? Like that, how does that make sense to you? But it does. All right. So everyone's like, where are the Democrats? Where are the Democrats? I don't see the Democrats doing anything. Where's the Democrats? Ugh.
Isn't loud and ridiculous. People don't understand. But you will understand when those hospitals in rural America start closing down even more. You will understand when you don't have your Social Security. You will understand when your Medicaid, your Medicare goes away. You will understand as planes continue to fall out of the sky. Soon you will understand why it's important to maybe have somebody that isn't loud and ridiculous, and maybe Sleepy Joe is what we wanted because we could at least sleep at night.
That's where the Democrats are, right? That's where they are. That's where they are. Here's the thing. If you don't see them, it's because you don't want to see them. Because they're doing everything that they can do. They also have a job to do in Congress. Like, so that's actually a thing. Like, they actually have to work in Congress, right? And then they have to do these things. I know that Hakeem Jeffries has told them to do more town hall meetings, and they are. I think more of them have to record it so people can see it. But then again, it's like people don't want to see it. It's almost like people just want to complain. Like Democrats are almost as bad as MAGA, right? We just want to complain. MAGA's still complaining, and they got their guy. Democrats are complaining about the wrong fucking thing. It's like AOC said something very important. She said, wake up every day and just do something. No matter how small it is, just do something. It doesn't matter. If you're one with common sense and you know what's going on, it doesn't matter. Get on TikTok for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and spit some facts. It doesn't matter. Do something. Call your senators. Call the House of Representatives. Do something. Find out who's about to start running. There's some elections coming up. Mail out some postcards. Do something. Donate. Volunteer. It doesn't matter how small it is. Even if it's talking to your relatives. Hey, do you see what's going on? Do you know what they're going to do next? Because we have seen that it does not matter if you're in a blue state or a red state. He wants to be king. He wants to be a dictator, not dictator for just, the federal government. He wants to be king. And I know that he was gaslighting people with that picture, but he's not lying. That is exactly what he wants to do. If he is trying to tell New York how to run New York, right? Because they want to do whatever that extra toll is during rush hour with people coming into Manhattan, and they have to pay like the $9. I forget what the project is called. And they're doing this so they can raise money for infrastructure to start fixing their roads and getting rid of the congestion tolls or something like that had already been approved. Now, Donald Trump is saying, no, it's not approved. So which is it? Because Republicans are big on states' rights, but here we have the federal government reaching in and telling New York, the New York governor, that she can't do something for her state. That should give us all pause. And that should also tell you we're not all necessarily safe. We're just not. He is going to, and he's petty as fuck. So every little thing, all the people that you talk to, let them know this is going to impact you one way or another. At some point, it's going to impact you. It's going to impact us all at some point. Here we go. Putin. Again, why are we talking about this? Why does the president of the United States start talking bad about Ukraine and cozying up to Putin? Where did he do that at? What is happening? Trump is like the weakest president in all of history. I don't know why people think he is strong. Well, not people, I'm saying MAGA, because I always talk to MAGA. Why do you think that he is strong? Why? How is cozying up to a war criminal, like being nice to him, how is that being strong? No war criminal. We know it. If you run against Putin, you die. I mean, you don't even have to know all of the history of Putin being in the KGB. You don't need to know all of that. All you need to know is the past few years, what he has done. That's all you need to know. Honestly. He takes American hostages. This is a guy that you're being friends with? The guy that takes American hostages? So now he's flipped the script. So now he's already sat down with Putin. So this is all about Putin, the war, right? Putin started a war with Ukraine because they thought that they could just go into Ukraine and just take whatever they want. Kind of like Trump saying that he wants to take Gaza, right? Just that's what they thought that they could do. Ukraine is defending themselves. That's what's happening right now. They're defending themselves. It is their land. Putin has been taking their children, taking Ukrainian children, capturing them, and taking their children and bringing them back to Russia. Why? Because he has lost so many troops. He needs these kids, especially males, and then he's going to reprogram them and make them think that they're Russian. It's all part of Putin's plan. He's a murderer. We saw what he did to Navalny. But this is Putin's guy. So now, Putin's guy, Trump's guy. So now Trump is calling the Ukrainian president a dictator. He's the dictator. He's mad at him because he won't sit down at the table, which they never even invited him to the meeting, but he won't sit down and agree to what we have, put on the table for him to sign. Right? See, what it is Trump is pissed right now because he wants Zelensky to give him half of their minerals. That's what he wants. It's like colonizers are going to colonize, right? It's like, hey, and this is a quid pro quo. Like, how do you get to do this? Yeah, maybe we'll help you if you give us half of your, vital resources. Zelensky's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing that. I'm not signing that. And kudos to him. But where are we right now as a country? And I think people don't pay attention to this part either. And I get it. There's so much to pay attention to. But this is also a scary part because now we have successfully broken up with Europe. We're not allies anymore. We've told them as much. We want to be with Putin, right? Well, what does NATO even mean right now? How are we even in NATO? Because we don't give a fuck about Europe. We can't. If we're saying we don't want to help Ukraine anymore, and we're on the side of Putin, which is crazy, right? Because this all means that Putin has something on Trump. Because why? Russia's not even strong. What? Putin is strong because he's smart, right? And he can manipulate. But just in general, Russia has nothing we need. So why would we be cozying up to Russia? What can we trade with Russia? But what right now what's happening is Trump and Rubio and his cabinet are talking about setting up businesses in Russia. Who's that good for? Not us. That's not good for us. That does not help America. Zero. What do we get from Russia? What do we import from Russia? What? Nothing. Not a damn fucking thing. Us putting businesses in Russia is good for Russia. And you still can't trust Vladimir Putin. Are we joking right now? He's a killer. He is a murderer. And we're setting up business in Russia? It's so dangerous because everyone is looking at it. China's looking at us. Our enemies are looking at us because they're like, score. Because now, if we attack America, they've shattered their relationship with Europe. Europe's not going to jump in and, why would Europe help us? What Trump going to go, hey, Vladimir Putin, can you help us? He doesn't have an army. They've died fighting in Ukraine. He's depleted. He can't help us. So none of this makes sense. It makes us look weak, not only weak and stupid. And that's the worst. To be both of those things. To be weak and stupid, that's awful. But that's where we are. I'm going to let some other people talk on this topic. Yeah, poor Ukraine. It's ridiculous. But what's going to happen is, Europe will, rise up and they will continue to help Ukraine because they don't have a choice. Because once Russia, takes a little bit of Ukraine, they're going to keep going. Then they're going to take the Baltic states. They're going to Poland. They're going to go all throughout Europe. That means that we're giving Putin the red light to do what he wants. Trump does not have control over Putin. Putin has a whole different plan. Trump is just a fucking puppet. He's using Trump to make America weak again. That's where we're at. But let's let someone else talk about it because There's some great people who talk about Russia better than I do.
Clear that this council does not listen. So
this is, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, Chris Kluwe. Is that how we say his name? He was a punter for the Minnesota Vikings. Let's listen to him.
instead, I'm going to take my time to say what MAGA has stood for these past 3 weeks. MAGA stands for trying to erase trans people from existence. MAGA stands for resegregation and racism. MAGA stands for censorship and book bans. MAGA stands for firing air traffic controllers while planes are crashing. MAGA stands for firing the people overseeing our nuclear arsenal. MAGA stands for firing military veterans and those serving them at the VA, including canceling research on veteran suicide. MAGA stands for cutting funds to education, including for disabled children. MAGA is profoundly corrupt, unmistakably anti-democracy, and most importantly, MAGA is explicitly a Nazi movement. You may have replaced a swastika with a red hat, but that is what it is. I will now engage in the time-honored American tradition of peaceful civil disobedience.
Get the heck.
More of that, y'all. More of that. That is exactly what we need. Call them what they are. They're fucking Nazis. This is a fucking Nazi movement. It just is. It's what? It is. It is. You are removing women and people of color from their government jobs. Donald Trump has a white administration and some black guy that we haven't seen in forever who's over in the urban department, and he did that to troll, right? He put that guy there just to be funny and to troll. I'm going to put a black person in the urban department. Other than that, it's just white because they want white men to take their rightful place on their thrones. It's just as simple as that. It is a Nazi movement. They don't want any trans people. They don't want women to work. They just want women pregnant. They definitely don't want black people in any positions of power. They just told the drunk Hegseth to look through the Department of Defense and, so they can start firing there. Where are they going to start? They're going to start with the blacks, right? Because they're going to go, well, they're DEI hires. And it's just like, again, we've said this over and over and over again. DEI doesn't mean I'm hiring you because of the color of your skin. DEI is diversity, inclusion, equity. That means we want to include everyone in the hiring process. That means that we want to widen our net so we have more applicants, so we can get the best qualified from a more diverse pool of people. That's what that is. No one, and I repeat, I said it last week, no one is hiring a black person because of the color of their skin, because they don't want to hire us in the first place. This is very simple. This is very simple. So why would they do that? They don't halfway want to give us jobs. So why would they be like, okay, black, come on in? They're not doing that because they don't want to hire us. So we have to be overly qualified for them to hire us. We have to look a certain way. Can stop playing, because that has a lot to do with it too. Because I remember starting off in the law field, and I would go on job interviews, and it was just like receptionist. I would see receptionists. If it was a receptionist of color, every single law firm, the receptionist of color, if there was one, because that wasn't a lot. So don't get me wrong. It was like a few here and there out of like 20, there may have been 3. Each one of them was light complexion. And that's a whole nother dynamic to this stuff, right? So if they were hiring black people that had to be qualified, they also wanted them to look a certain part at a point in time, right? But years ago, it was a whole different thing that was going on. So yes, we needed Diversity, equity, and inclusion. So that's exactly what that is. So let's talk about someone else, because I think we were talking about Putin and I got sidetracked, because that's what happens with me.
Coders into the Pentagon's most secured system. Groceries, dropping the cost of fuel. He hasn't even attempted to try to tackle those cost problems.
Yep.
Meanwhile, our nation has experienced 7 major airline crashes. Musk has access to all of our nation's finances, including the people's Social Security, Medicare, all of it. And next up, Musk is looking to put his programmers and coders into the Pentagon's most secured systems. Pause and read. The Trump administration removing any and all that protect our beautiful nation. Because Donald Trump wants to turn us into a Russian pit. Like that, like that, like that. Isn't Russia beautiful? While we've got a lush as the Secretary of Defense, and Donald Trump threatening Ukraine for their natural resources, just as Putin has been doing this whole time. There's a reason why Elon Musk turned off the Starlink during Ukraine operations. Because Ukraine wouldn't give Elon Musk exclusive rights to their nickel, aluminum, precious rare earth metals that are needed in Tesla. And why Elon Musk then partnered up with Putin. And now, of course, Donald Trump is saying, hey,
think about it. Like, think about it. Putin wants their resources. Trump wants their resources. And Elon wants their resources. They'll let those people die for those resources. I mean, again, this is exactly what being a colonizer is, right? They did the same thing to Africa. Go in, take all the resources. Africans living poor. All the countries in Africa, they just took the resources and got rich. Look at Elon. He's South African. Isn't that what his family did too? Ugh.
hey, Ukraine, we're going to take your minerals. While Musk awards himself taxpayer dollars in contracts. This is all simultaneously a coup and active measures of destroying us from within, as Putin wants. Donald Trump and Elon Musk are the enemy of the state, and Vladimir Putin is the enemy of all humanity.
We're all saying the same thing. It's just not hard. This is not deep state. This is not conspiracy theories. This is literally facts, common sense, facts. Meanwhile, Eric Adams is just like making his rounds on Fox News, because this is Eric Adams. You know, Eric Adams is like, what quid pro quo? There's no deal. Meanwhile, on Fox News,
if he doesn't come through, I'll be back in New York City, and we won't be sitting on the couch. I'll be in his office, up his butt, saying, "Where the hell is the agreement we came to?" So,
look at Eric Adams' face. That a boy, Eric. We got you right on the leash, boy. They might as well be calling him boy. They just might as well be calling him boy. He got to shuck. He got to jive. He got to do all that kind of, got to keep that. They didn't even give him a pardon. They ain't giving you no pardon, dude. He already wants to own New York. So he's like, yeah, I will dismiss it without prejudice. And if you don't do, like whatever this guy Holman just said, that he's getting this dismissal because he has something to do for us. Like, he's saying it on TV. That is quid pro quo. So they had their court, was that yesterday? The Department of Justice argued why Eric Adams should be dismissed because apparently if you're indicted while you're in public office, it's just so much for you to do. Like, how in the world could you do Trump's immigration if you also are indicted? Like, what are we saying right now? So are we saying like in, whoever is in office, if they, I hope they're just not out here getting indicted, but if they are, they can't do their jobs. They should just all be dismissed without prejudice because you can't work and do this at the same time. Like, make it make sense, Eric. In the beginning, you actually said that you could. And if you can't, then maybe you should resign. And if you're innocent, like, why do you need it to be dismissed anyway? And also, you are compromised. And we know that you are compromised. So now, the governor of New York, she has to decide if, well, we have to wait for the judge because I don't think the judge is going to say, no, this can't be dismissed. I don't see that happening. And if it's not dismissed, what does the governor do? Does she wait and say, well, maybe he will get primaried? I think it's in June. Or does she just get rid of him before that? Because again, he's an operative. He can give Trump all kinds of information in New York. He can make some very bad things happen until that primary in June. I mean, look at this dude. He's just like, I'm on Fox News and I'm a Democrat and I love these guys. Like, this is so fucking pathetic. It's just not even funny. Look at this dude. Look at him.
If he doesn't come through, I'll be back in New York City, and we won't be sitting on the couch. I'll be in his office, up his butt, saying, "Where the hell is the agreement we came to?" So
I'm gonna be up his butt, and where is the agreement that we came to? I'm gonna be up his butt, and where's the agreement that we came to? Yeah. So here's my thought. That's okay. Because I have hope in Alvin Bragg. Because there's no way in the world that Eric Adams did all that crime on a federal level and didn't break any state laws. There's no way. There's no way. So, yeah, go on and dismiss that one without prejudice, because I think that Alvin Bragg is going to be in the background with some state charges for that ass. So we can hope on that. Let's put some hope. Let's bring that into fruition. Maybe we can pray on it or something like that while we're, saying those other prayers that we are all saying. For the next 4 years, we're praying for some things to happen. So let's put that in our prayer jar as well. In closing, I do want to talk, let our little friend talk. Noah. I do want to let Noah talk because Noah is like a kid that just knows some stuff, and MAGA hates this kid because he's smarter than they are. So they actually hate him. Oh, well, let me read some of the chat. I never do, and that's really bad. And now I'm not going to understand anything that's happening in the chat. Val. Hi, Val. Absolutely right. And if he's giving us $5,000, why can't they use that money to pay down the deficit? Absolutely true. Trump has pocketed $50 million in the first 30 days due to his business practices. Yep. Someone said absolutely. So glad to see you back. Hi, Tom. To hells. Musk and Trump even lying about astronauts. I saw that. And the astronauts from freaking wherever they are, space station, have to set the record straight. What is going on right now? He's blaming it on Biden, that they're up there, and they had to say that's not true. These people are just liars. Like, if you lie about the small things, you're gonna lie about the big things. We have a president that is a liar, and that is what's so difficult. And that's the annoying part about journalism, right? Like, it's almost like being a public defender. And you know your client is guilty, but you have to defend your client anyway. That's like what's happening now. These are journalists. They have to cover him like they do. We get pissed at them, but they have to cover him. They have to cover him like the things are true. Because if they start as journalists calling things out like that, like while they're there, then they'll never be back, and then we won't hear them. And it would just only be the Fox Newses and the Newsmaxes that are at these briefings and things like that. And we don't want that to happen. So I get it, but it's also annoying. They didn't even know what USAID does. They help farmers domestically. Exactly. And now the farmers are having issues and losing their farms, and farmers that voted for MAGA. And now you have like Republican governors and senators like writing letters and asking Trump, can you just leave our state alone? Can you just not do that? Because look at Virginia, right? Virginia is a heavy federal workers are in Virginia, because Virginia has like the military, everything. And Trump is firing people. So now Glenn Youngkin is like, whoa, what do I do, right? Don't want to cross Trump, but he's causing trouble for my reelection. What's happening, right? Yeah, y'all should have thought about that shit. Tom, reptiles don't think critically or at all. That's funny you call them reptiles. And that's true. Too busy golfing. Yep, Trump has spent 27% of his time golfing already. Brian, why aren't you watching the Celtics game? I'm just reading the chat for anyone who's listening to this. You are so right. They are selfish. They don't care about the poor. They absolutely do not. They're trying to sucker the losers by making them think they will get $5,000 back from the savings from waste. And that's crazy too, because guess what? Trump can't just make that happen. That would have to go through Congress. Congress would have to approve that. And they're not going to approve that. Why would they just randomly give you $5,000? Like, you're not getting that. And guess what? If they did, guess what? Your ass is paying that shit back in your taxes the next year. Stop playing right now. Spoiler alert, it wouldn't math at all. Exactly. Trump's math never maths. They are bankrupting the USA so no one can track the massive theft ensuing. Absolutely. It's not theft, it's fascism. The theft is just the appetizer. Yeah, that's true. They plan a recession like 2008 when 7 million homes were foreclosed on as they paid the banks $850 billion. Exactly. And we just talked about this on the Black and White show on Tuesday. Because it's fascism, greedy, or stupid. Both. Is actually only $8 billion, and that's according to someone with zero transparency. Yeah, it's just all crazy. God, thank you guys. You guys made a lot of comments. This is great. I can't read them all. It's too many. All right, so let's go on to the kid, like I said, because he is smarter than MAGA, and MAGA hates Noah. So let's let Noah sum up everything before we close out.
The healthcare system. Ask you a question. What does declassifying files, renaming bodies of water, and ending birthright citizenship have to do with the economy, this ridiculous healthcare system, or education? Do you realize that there was another school shooting in Tennessee and he hasn't said anything about it? And then when you look at all of the school shooters and these terrorists, they've all been U.S. citizens. And he was talk so much about immigrants being a problem, but your U.S. citizens are the ones killing everybody. What are you guys thinking, and what's going on in your brain to make you think this person would be a good person to lead our country? How long are you going to keep glazing this man? I'm going to keep learning and educating my young mind and keep speaking up for myself and everybody in my generation, because I don't know who else is going to do it, because it's definitely not going to be him. And I'm going to prepare for 2048. That's when I run. So I hope you guys have a wonderful, great, and amazing day. And all who voted for him, do some more research and prepare for 2028, because let's not have you make the same mistake.
I love this kid, but we're gonna end it with some humor, because we all need some humor. But he's right. Just do something. Just do something, no matter how little or small, because we do have to prepare for like midterms. Midterms are coming, and we have some work to do. It's going to be hard, but we have to continue to educate people. I know people hate Twitter. But those of you who left to go to Blue Sky but still have an account on Twitter, pop in every now and again, because that is where you have MAGA, but you just also have people that you may be able to reach. Blue Sky is an echo chamber. It's all of us Democrats. We're talking to ourselves. I don't know how that helps us move forward if we're continuing to talk to ourselves. Why would you cede ground to MAGA? Like, why would we just run? Because what? It's Elon. Oh, he's a Nazi. I'm not going to be on this Nazi platform. Like, why would we just leave? Why not be on a Nazi platform? Why not fight there? Because that is ground zero. That is where we are needed the most. We're not needed the most on Blue Sky. That's not where. What are you talking about? We're needed right there at ground zero. So that is just my suggestion. And that is why I personally stay, because I know that my voice is needed the most right there in the midst of all that hate and all that MAGA. I am going to be the voice of reason. I am going to be strong. Yeah. Again, you got TikTok. They're on there too, right? So that's a good place too. Do a video, make some comments. Like, again, just any little thing. We just have to do something. Like, we have to do more. We can't just leave it up to the lawmakers and be like, well, they're not doing anything. What are we doing? So anyway, I said I was going to leave with some humor. Let's leave with some humor so we can all go into our Friday and into the weekend laughing. So here's some humor, guys.
Why you think you get two questions? Well, you feel communication director because all the rest of them sorry asses got fired and they only left with me. I'll be taking one question for each of you, not two, one at a time. Thank you so much. Yes.
Who are you?
Yeah, my name is Muddia, Mud to the damn DEA. You only get a first name because I have warrants. Thank you so much. Next question. Question.
Yeah, what makes you qualified to be communications director?
Why you think you get two questions? Will you feel entitled, white man? The reason I'm qualified to be communication director is because I'm here. Now mind your damn business. Thank you very much. Next question.
Wait, did you even vote for Donald Trump?
Hey, I know. I didn't vote for Trump. Only two black people voted for Trump. One was Ben Carson, and the other was that man behind him at the rallies with the sign say "Blacks for Trump." I'm not damn one of them. I voted for Hillary 3 times. Thank you very much.
Then why did you agree to do this job?
Why does anybody work for somebody they can't stand, they don't like? They need a check. I need the CHEQ, okay? So that's why the hell I'm here. Thank you very much, okay? I'm putting a Scaramuccia in this bitch. After this is over, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be in this bitch for about 10 days, then I'm gonna do Dancing with the Stars, and we're gonna have a good time up in this thing.
Isn't she great, folks? Isn't she great? Let me shake your hand. Let me shake your hand.
Damn, Donna, what the hell? You gotta watch him when he's shaking your hand, because he'll be shaking with that right, but on that left, he'll be reaching down trying to grab my purse.
This was totally my idea, by the way.
I just thought that was funny. Anyway, everyone, please, thank you for coming. It was a full house in the chat. I really appreciate it. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please do that now. Yeah, have a good weekend, guys. I will see you hopefully next Thursday, and hopefully there's not too much damage going on over the weekend and we can get some rest. All right. So see everyone later. Celtics are on, so I'm gonna be out right now. Talk to you guys. Thank you. Good night.